So I don't like this new thing. Namaste, everybody. If you're watching this later, I don't like this new process with Zoom. It puts up notices and verbalizes that you're recording now or you're not recording and stuff, and it's very distracting. Anyway, so yes, we're in winter. It certainly feels like that, even though it's been super beautiful where we are. We're in lockdown for most of us watching these videos. Also, maybe you are where you are somewhere in the world. And of course, you know, it's not just changing of seasons. There's also this big thing going on in the cosmos, which will actually create more change. So there's change coming, there's change here, and the change is going to be constant. So we just need to learn to sit comfortably with change and find a way of being okay with it. So that's what we will do to start with. Find a comfortable seat for yourselves. I'll see if I can just pull that back enough. Just any comfortable seated position for yourself. Take your time to get cozy with it. Take any support that you need. And then just begin to relax. You might like to start by wriggling out through the spine, shoulders, neck. Just attending to any creases that the body still has in it from your sleep, or even from the actions over the last few days. Actually, I'm getting my body seen to by somebody, and it's bringing up a lot of stuff. Like, I'm pretty uncomfortable. So if I'm only half doing postures, then that will be why. My hip is really not in a great place at the moment. So, and my shoulder. So not sure if it's doing me any good or not. So attend to your body and to check in to what's going on with you, and know that this is your practice. So not to do anything that doesn't feel aligned for you, doesn't feel right for you. And knowing that on any given day, things change, you know, things are different. One day we can do this, the next day we cannot. And we really want to learn to meet ourselves where we're at when it comes to practicing yoga on all levels. I mean, any level of practice, whether that is very subtle esoteric stuff or really gross physical stuff. We want to really learn to just meet ourselves where we are exactly and not find a need to try and push through something or change it. Begin to deepen the breath into the body, filling out through your ribs and belly, grounding down into your seats, your buttocks. And as you exhale, just allowing the shoulders to relax, any effort through the belly, buttocks, thighs to be released. And using those conscious breaths as a way of not just making yourself more relaxed, but also assessing where you're at this morning. Letting those inhalations in particular highlight any stagnation or hardness or soreness, or indeed openness, comfort. Let the exhalations just keep everything in a relaxed and calm and grounded manner, like being here in the present moment, being in your body. Letting the breath continue to really find its way down into the belly center, that real center point in the pelvis, really. See if you can breathe into that center point. I call this the Hara. If you've been with me, most of you have been with me for a long time, so you know this word, you know this area right in the center of the pelvis. And we're encouraging the breath to dive directly down and into the Hara. The Hara is, on a physical level, the center point of gravity of our body. So when it comes to remaining balanced and keeping in our center through the fluctuation and destabilization of change, then this is often a very handy place to be able to access and to be able to sit with, to sit into. So breathing, if you can, all the way down to that pinpoint in the center of your pelvis. Breathing life into it, breathing awareness into it. You may begin to notice or imagine, as you're inhaling into that area, gentle expansion, like a little ball just gently expanding out. And then on the exhalation, it's drawing back into itself, making itself into a little ball that feels quite strong and solid. And then the inhalation is this gentle flaring out. And the exhalation is this contracting back in. And just continue to see if it's not there naturally, you can just imagine, begin to evoke it into your body. And in that way, as we inhale, we're sort of inhaling the flow, allowing the flow, sort of becoming okay with what comes at us. And that contraction as we exhale is the strength required to comfortably and calmly push through. So finding those elements, perhaps as subtle as they may be, as you breathe, breathing in, sense of hope and flow and ease. And as you exhale, that strength and resilience that's required. And that is in you. It is already there. We actually don't need to cultivate it. We just need to access it, enliven it, perhaps. So just take a couple more breaths there. And you can begin to slowly let go of that focus and begin to allow your awareness to begin to move into the rest of the body, beginning to feel what's going on. And then just allow a gentle sway to begin to come in through the spine, So just swaying from side to side. Sit bones remain evenly resting on the earth as you just allow your spine to sway like a piece of kelp in the sea, being drawn from side to side, and just allowing the spine to begin to move more freely, to have that sense of flow and movement and grace. So here it's almost also like that analogy of being like bamboo. You know, there's strength in the spine, there's an uprightness of the spine, and yet it's able to flex from side to side, changing directions with comfort and ease. And as you begin to move from side to side, perhaps a little bit more, you know, expressing it a little bit more deeply, you can begin to encourage the shoulders to get involved. And as you arrive to one side, rolling that shoulder back and then beginning to draw the other shoulder back as you come into that side. So we're moving the swaying with the rotation of the shoulders. And if that's too complicated for your body or mind this morning, then just find your own way to involve the shoulders in movement, or just come into the shoulders. Because we are actually going to settle back into the center and really focus that movement through the shoulders. My cat's really enjoying these little rotational movements. She's a bit put out because I've got this foster kitten. So she's like, I don't get that much time with you. I don't like that cat. Then change the direction with your shoulder. Yeah, anything else that feels nice for you is also super cool. If your body wants to move in a slightly different way, these are just warm-ups, so you can most certainly do that. You like this, pussycat? Smoochy, smoochy. Coming back to the center and just stretching the arms out at shoulder distance, making a little fist and drawing those fists in towards the wrists and then around. And such a lovely stretch for those poor arms, particularly if you spend a bit of time on the computer, which I'm glad to say I do not anymore. Change the direction. Susie, this will be good for your marking hand. Yeah, get a little bit of repetition strain there, no doubt. And so just take your time with it, because in these colder mornings, the joints, they suffer a little bit more. And we'll just straighten the legs out, I think. Give them a nice stretch and then shake the feet from side to side. I might just make the adjustment now with the camera. Hopefully that will work and I don't need to go and adjust again. All right, so as you stretch the legs out, begin to rotate through your ankles. Pussycat out the way. Enough for your smooching pleasure. Both directions, of course. And just shimmy them from side to side as well. This is great for just loosening the ankle joints, but it also moves all the way up to the hip. And the clickiness or stickiness is, you know, can tell you some information about what's going on. A little shimmy from the shoulders while we're here once again. From side to side like a la cucaracha. It's a good way of warming up the body. And then feet to the floor in front of you, heart lifts. And we can just begin to coil back and forth. Might come to the other side so you can view a little more easily. So we're lifting the heart from the lower belly and then coiling in. I'm very needy this morning, JJ. Inhale to lift and exhale to collapse. And inhale to lift, exhale to collapse. I find these repetition, movements are so helpful in the cold. I have quite an achy body. Does feel, a lot of discomfort, particularly as it gets colder. So this back and forth movements are very good, I think, for joints in the cold. And then up, lift the chest. You can bring those feet in just a little bit more, closer to the buttocks. And we're going to lift off and just stretch the knees away from us and then pull back. Exhaling, pushing away. You can inhale. It doesn't really matter which way you do it, but I inhale this way. Exhale, pull away. Inhale, forward. Exhale, pull away. Inhale, back, I should say. And then just allowing those thighs to stretch a little bit more. So you might want your hands a little closer. I just did a little sneaky lift back. I pushed back my buttocks towards my hands. So as I begin to stretch all the way over, perhaps tapping the knees down, that's more achievable than if your hands are further away from the buttocks or the heels, right? So you want them a little closer in if you're going to try stretching the front of those thighs nicely like that. And then just drop the knees down and hold for a moment. You might like to walk those hands in just a little bit more. Begin to stretch and lift up into the heart. Maybe lift the head, the chin back a little, and then come forward. And as you come forward, if you have blocks, you might like some blocks there, just for future reference. And then we're going to lift the left knee off and lift the left arm up. Right hand is just sitting on the inside of that right knee. And we're just going to reach up on the inhalation. And as we exhale, come back down, actually both knees to the floor. And then inhale, reach up through the right side, lifting right knee and arm. Exhale, back down. Inhale, swap it out. Left arm and knee lift and open. And exhale, back down. And then right knee and arm lift and open. And then exhale, back down. I'm going to, at this point, take my socks off. I can see that they're beginning to get in the way. You might like to do the same. If you have socks, you can have your blocks there. And as we lift the knees off the floor, it's a neat little trick, I think. You can bring the blocks in under your knees. If you would prefer some support this morning, or you can just have, just use your own balance. But it's quite early, so you might like that support. The other thing is you could lift them all the way up and have that support. Or of course, you can just lift using your lower belly and then bringing the hands to into prayer at the heart center. And just have a steady gaze there for a moment as you lengthen through the spine and just begin to activate in the lower half of the body. And of course, in that Hara area. Take an inhale here, lengthening up through the spine, relaxing the shoulders. And as you exhale, you can drop your hands to the floor or your blocks and lift the hips and drop the heels and head. So hips up, heels and head down. Knees can be nice and soft as we just released. So again, the blocks can be just under the hands, and then you can use an inhale to half lift and to straighten the legs a little bit more, lengthen up through the spine, and the spine nice and
straight and long. And then exhale to drop over the thighs, release the head down, soften the knees, release completely, and you can spin the chin from side to side. And then a half lift again as we inhale, riding up, straightening the legs, lengthening through the spine, getting that nice clear L shape through the body. And then exhale, releasing back over those thighs, releasing the head, softening the knees, a little play through the shoulders or neck as you arrive down. And then one last inhale. Inhale to half lift. Lengthen the back of the legs and the spine, get quite active, and then use the exhalation to soften the knees and allow the torso to refold over the thighs. Completely release the head, swing the chin from side to side a couple of times, and then we're just going to let the hands and head completely hang as we roll up like a rag doll. So bend the knees quite deeply and begin to press the feet into the floor. Lift in that lower belly and coil your way up as you press the feet into the earth to allow yourself to come up. And then use another inhalation once you've arrived into standing to take the arms up and over. And reach, 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 and have a little play there. You might even like to bob the heels a little up and down to open up the side gates and front gates of the body, of the thigh and the hips. Well, then you can press the feet into the floor, press the heels into the floor, keep the tail long, suck the lower navel in towards the spine, and then lift from that lower navel into the heart. Lift your gaze and lift the arms as you draw the shoulders back down. And then exhale, hallelujah, hands to heart. And just allow the body to drink in the stretch. Also just letting the energy settle. You can relax the body in any way, any little movement that feels right for you. And you don't need to turn, I'm just going to turn, so I'm looking at you for a moment. So the feet can be together, or they can be hip distance, or perhaps even just somewhere in between this morning. Hands are in prayer at the heart center, and I want you to feel this nice inner strength and alignment of the body. So trying to have both feet evenly pressing and zipping up those legs. Even if they're apart, you can still feel this zipping up of the legs, and that will come up into the navel, into the hara, into belly center. And allow that lengthening up through the spine and then out through the crown. So feel the feet press into the floor and the crown reach out, or up, sorry. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Hands gently press into each other. And we're actually just going to do a few rounds of the Om. Because I think it's very healing and it can help rebalance the energetics of the body. So I think that can be quite useful. So just begin by closing the eyes and finding your breath. Nice deepened breath into the belly. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to drop the arms out to the side and take the inhale out and up. We're just going to start with the breath to start with. And the exhale, just allow the arms to drop back down, the palms still facing into each other and the elbows bending slightly. So we have this prana mudra, this willingness to open up and hold the energy. And then we can simply inhale back up and exhale out and down, just like halfway. And we'll repeat it 3 times. So inhaling, lifting the arms up, and exhale, we're going to Om. Om. Inhale to rise again. Om. once again. Holding your hands where they are just for a moment, as if containing the Om in the etheric body around you. You might like a little sway from side to side, like pivoting. And then just allow the arms to float down to rest beside your body. And then as we inhale, sweep the arms forward and up as we bend the knees and allow the buttocks to drop back down. Take an inhale once again as you arrive to lengthen buttocks and hands away from each other and ground down through the feet. And then inhale one more time and use the exhalation to slowly fold over your thighs. Hands can come to the blocks or the floor. And then a half lift as we inhale and rise up. And as we exhale, we're going to step back with the left leg. And just reach it away from us as we bend the knee. And if you're using blocks, bring them a little bit more so they're directly under your shoulders, in line with the right foot. Take an inhale as we bend the back knee and slightly straighten the front as we coil in, dropping the head, tucking the tail. And then the exhalation as we stretch everything out from your back heel to your crown. And then repeating it again, coiling in, bending the back knee, slightly straightening the front, coiling tail and dropping head, and exhale to straighten out. Looking forward as you lengthen from your back heel to your front knee and crown. And lastly, inhale, bending back and coiling all the way in. And then exhale to straighten and iron it out. Release the blocks, or you can use them to support yourself coming into downward facing dog. So pressing the hands evenly into the floor, all four corners. Lift that back heel and begin to lift the hips and coil through the spine so you can release that right leg to the back. And then just stretch out in your dog. Perhaps a little play there for a moment, a little wagging of the tail or a little pedaling of the feet. Just warming up the body in any way that feels right for you. Get your alignment right. Feet are at hip distance, shoulders are hands are at shoulder distance. This way we're really aligning the bones so the structure is sound and we don't have to use any more muscular effort than is really required. Try and keep the length predominantly in the spine, so you might need to soften your knees a little in order to lengthen the spine out. Worry about opening up the hamstrings as a secondary concern. And then inhaling from the hands to the hips, exhaling from the hips to the heels. And then next inhale, lift your heels up, drop the knees in slow motion down. Let the knees just tap to the floor and then inhale back up, push back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels high, begin to draw the body forward and drop the knees down in slow motion. Let the knees just tap and then push back up. That could be the inhale and the exhale to push back. So find the breath that suits you at the moment where you're at. Inhale, rise the breath, the heels up. And you might like to exhale and slowly tap the heels down. Let's let the the knees come all the way down. And we inhale into our cat pose. Squeeze the knees and the hands towards each other as you lift up into up cats or cow pose. And then as you exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine, drop the head and tail and push the hands and knees away from each other. Inhale, draw the knees and hands towards each other and lifting sit bones, chin, chest. And exhale, push the hands and knees away from each other as you drop the head and tail. Inhale, rising once again, lifting chest, chin, tail. And as you exhale, we're stepping back and lifting those knees back up. And just finding your way back into downward facing dog, wagging your tail a little from side to side, maybe just opening up the side gates of the body a little. Then we're going to inhale and lift the right leg slowly up. And exhale, draw the nose in towards the knee in towards the nose, but both ways. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, coil knee to nose. Inhale, lift the leg up, but just try and lift the leg, not the hip at this particular point. Just hold there for a moment as you rotate the ankle 3 times in each direction, and then bend the knee and straighten the leg, and then bend the knee and straighten the leg, and bend the knee and straighten the leg. Take one more inhale, reaching the hands into the floor and all the way into that foot, and then exhale, drop the foot towards the other, to the floor. And then the next leg. Inhale, lifting the left leg straight up, just the leg, not the hip. And exhale, coiling in. Knee to nose. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, coil in, knee to nose. Maybe a little Eskimo kiss as you go. Inhale, lift. And this time we're holding, just lifting the leg, not the hip, and rotate the foot 3 times in each direction. And then bend the knee, straighten the leg, bend the knee, straighten the leg. You want to do that 3 times as well. You can sneak in a 4th if you like. And then we're going to coil in, lift the right heel up, coil the left knee in, come forward, bring the whole body forward so you can lift that left foot to the hands. And then as you arrive, we exhale and straighten out, pushing into the back heel, bending the front knee, looking forward, and then coiling back in on the inhale, bending the back knee, slightly straightening the front. And then as we exhale, straightening out, ironing out the body from the back heel to the crown. Last one. Inhale, coil in. And exhale, lengthen out. So just getting ready to move forward. So you might like to push back a little into the back leg, bending the knee and just getting a little light on that back foot. So inhale, push forward, half lift as you arrive, and the exhale as we fold over the thighs, softening the knees as much as we need to. Bending the knees nice and fully, letting the head and arms hang. Press the floor away with the feet, and then using the belly also to support, coming all the way up. Maybe a second inhale to bring the arms up and over. Hands meet overhead, and let's just drop them back behind us as we exhale, lifting the elbows nice and high as we gently squeeze the hands together. And then inhale, lift the arms, lift your gaze, press the feet into the floor and slightly pull them away from each other. And then exhale, drop the hands back behind you, drop the chin in towards the chest, look down towards the floor. And then inhale again, press the feet into the floor, begin to slightly pull them away as you draw your knees or upper shins towards each other. I know that's a little bit, more subtle. As the hands reach overhead, looking up and really being active in those feet and legs there. And then exhale, again, drop the hands back behind you, lift the elbows high, squeeze the hands into each other, and look down towards the floor. And then last one, inhale, Press the feet into the floor, pull them away from each other. Begin to draw your upper shins towards each other as the hands reach up overhead. Your gaze looks towards that direction and your lower belly draws in and up. And we can begin to perhaps lean back a little. Begin to really activate those legs as you begin to allow the arms to come back. That's beautiful. And then forward, all the way in slow motion, just gently coming down, softening the knees as you do. Allowing the hands to come to the blocks or the floor and just release completely through the neck, through the spine. A little rock from side to side of the hips or indeed the entire torso if that feels nice for you. Otherwise, you can just be in stillness, releasing through the spine, allowing the weight of the head to really create some space in between the vertebrae. And then once again, we are bending the knees quite deeply, pressing the floor away from us, beginning to lift up in our belly and rolling up like a ragdoll all the way up. Maybe one foul swoop with the breath to bring the arms up and over. And then this time, let's just exhale to the right-hand side. I don't mirror image if you remember. I don't know how that works. I actually can't remember how it works when we're filming. Inhale, lift up to the center and exhale to the left-hand side. Yum, 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 yum. I love side stretching. Inhale, lift to the center, lift from that Hara, that lower part of the belly, in and up. And once again, go to the right-hand side, really begin to press down into the left leg. And if you like, lift that the right heel off the floor. You're leaning to the right, you're pressing strongly down through that left leg and lifting the right heel as if you're hitching something up. And then inhale, lift up again, drop the right heel. And as you exhale over to the left-hand side, begin to gently lift that left heel, ground down through the right foot really firmly and open up through the right gate of the body. Breathing. And then inhale, back up, both heels down. And exhale. Let's fold once again, leading with the heart, softening the knees as you come further down to make sure that you're super comfortable and the spine is completely at ease. Inhale and half lift, and this time we're going to lift that right leg up, reach it gently away, and bend the left knee, guide the right foot back to the floor, heel's going to remain lifted, and then really put some pressure into the front left foot as we inhale and rise. Hands come up and over. And as you exhale, you can drop the hands back behind you as you sink the hips down towards the floor. And you can keep them there, squeezing the hands together and lifting the elbows high. Keep pressing the feet into the floor, trying to find that nice, even effort in the legs. And then as you're ready, kick into the back heel a little bit more as you inhale and lift the arms up. Drop into the front knee a little as you maybe lift your gaze. Take one inhale there as you stretch into the feet and hands away from each other. And as you exhale, we're going to lift the back heel up, drop the hands towards the heart, and then drop that back heel down. And just make any little adjustments you need to for your feet to come into Virabhadrasana, to the warrior pose. Let that front knee track towards the little toe side and use an inhalation to open the arms wide. So the palms are facing down towards the floor and they're in line with the shoulders. We want to roll out towards the outer edge of that back foot. And you might do that by slightly straightening the front leg. to access the back of the foot, to roll out towards the back of that right foot. Once you've got that, plant it down, root it down, and see then if you can begin to lower that front knee further over the ankle. Let's take an inhale, and as we inhale, we're going to come back into that back leg, straightening the front leg all together, lifting the left arm up and over on an angle. And then as we exhale, we just come back into the warrior pose and see if you can keep what's been gained in that back leg really nice and active. We want the little lift in the arch at the back of that foot, in the back foot. And then inhale, press back into that back foot, straightening the front leg and reaching over. And then as you exhale, guiding the knee back over the ankle and dropping the arms back in line with the shoulders. Last one. Inhale, straighten that front leg, guide yourself back and over. And then keep the legs straight as we lift up, and you're going to really need to lift up from your belly, from your hips, and then come forward. I'm going to slightly shorten my stance and then reach forward and just let the hand come wherever it naturally goes. For me this morning, I'm going really gently in these standing postures because my hips are a little fragile, shall we say. Inhale and lift the right arm up, and we come into the full Trikonasana pose. If you're feeling it in the belly nice and strong, you can lift off and not have that left hand on the leg at all, but just back of the hand on the inner leg, and you use your core muscles and back muscles to stand strong here. Really want to be strong in that back leg too. Take one more breath there. And then as you exhale, guide that right arm up and over and lift the back heel. You might want to come for a block or just the floor. Guiding that back heel in line with the toes. And then just begin to reach the back heel and crown away from each other and taking the front knee towards the toes as you lift up a little through the hips and then drop down. So we're going to lift up, that will be the inhalation, and then drop down. And then again, lift up and then drop down. And just holding there for a moment, begin to press that right hand into the floor or the block, whatever you're using, and let that guide the torso towards the left-hand side. So you're beginning to rotate through the torso. And then at some point that will feel quite nice to perhaps lift that left arm in alignment to the shoulder. So see how you feel. You can also keep the hand on just onto the hip, and that might work quite nicely as well. One more breath there, lengthening from the back heel to the crown. See if you can turn a little more fully with the torso, and then exhale to bring the left hand beside the foot, and then step back, coiling in. Lift the back heel nice and high so you can really coil through the back, and then lift that left foot out of there. Coming into your downward facing dog and just seeing what's available, what's comfortable, what needs ironing out. Maybe you just prefer the stillness, and that's also okay. So just beginning to use these moments for yourself. We're going to inhale and lift the heels high, and as we do, drop the knees slowly down to the floor. We're going to walk those hands a little bit further away from us and use an exhalation to drop the heart down to the earth. You might let the forehead, touch the floor. And then on an inhale, we're going to coil back up, rounding through the spine and take the right hand and begin to thread it under. And just push back down so you can lay on the outer right arm. The buttocks remains in line with the knees, and that left hand is still stretching out. And from here, you can just breathe if it's quite enough for you, or you can begin to really press that right arm into the floor and rotate slightly through the torso again. And that left hand just in support, you could come up onto your fingertips if that felt nicer for you. I'm enjoying feeling really grounded with the palm of the hand on the floor this morning. And I'm just trying to open up through the shoulder and through the torso. Find your breath using it. Left hand is going to press into the floor when you're ready to come out. And we use the inhale to lift our way back up there and place the right hand back in line with the shoulder. And then use that next exhalation to take the left hand, thread it through, lay down on the back of that arm. Get yourself comfortable. Make any adjustments that you need to. And then begin to work on the pose. Press that right hand into the floor, press the back of the left arm into the floor and begin to rotate that torso up towards the ceiling. Or if you're happy to just work with the level that you're at without too much extra effort, then that's also okay. Body is still getting a lot out of it. Breathe into the shoulder, the ribs, even the hip on the left-hand side. And then on an inhale, press into that right hand, lift the torso out of there. Hands both in place now in line with the shoulders. And once again, just begin to roll the sit bones high and drop the heart low. Hands might reach a little further away now as we drop the heart and chin or forehead to the floor. Pull those shoulders or arm bones back into the shoulders. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. And then as you're ready, use an inhalation to begin to coil up. Let the hands slide back in towards the body as you do that. Take an inhale as we let the head and sit bones rise up. Tuck the toes under if you haven't already. And then as you exhale, coiling back in, press the hands into the floor and let the knees lift off and come back into downward facing dog. And then this time we inhale and lift the right leg up into the air. Try and be nice and steady in the hands and nice and squared on, nice and even in, the shoulders so that the right shoulder isn't lifting. And as we reach and reach and reach that leg as high as we can, we're going to bend the knee again so the heel drops towards the buttocks and then open the hip up. That means lifting that thigh away from the floor and trying to guide the knee up towards the ceiling. And then we've got to resist with the shoulders. So begin to rotate that right shoulder or underarm back towards the floor so it evens the shoulders out as best we can. We want to also externally rotate the left thigh. So try not to let that roll in. The knee doesn't want to go into the center. You want to keep the knee looking directly at your face. Take an inhale. You might even like to stretch that right leg
straight and just enjoy a beautiful stretch. Use an exhalation to bring the leg back down to the floor. The side, the left. And then we inhale and lift the left leg up. Nice and slowly guiding it up. Just the leg to start with. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Firm through those hands. And then as you reach that leg up, then begin to bend the knee so the heel drops down towards the buttocks. And use another inhalation to begin to guide the knee up towards the ceiling, away from the floor. And then you need to assess those arms and shoulders. So really plant down through the left arm, through the left hand, even out those shoulders. Begin to externally rotate through the right thigh so that the right knee continues to look directly at you. And then inhale and extend that left leg straight if you like, reaching it high. And then exhale to coil it in to the body, lean forward, lift the back heel, and bring the left foot to the hand. Get comfortable so you can have lift off here. And we're going, oh, is it? Oh no, don't tell me I'm taking the wrong foot. I really thought I was doing the right thing here, and I'm not doing the right thing here. So what we're going to do is either you're going to step that left leg back and step the right foot forward, or if you feel like being a little funky this morning, and I don't know if I do, so let's see how well I go, you can just jump it. And you could re-jump just a couple of times. It's an excellent way to warm the body. You could jump back and forth a few times. I'm not going to actually do that many more times because I can see my right hip's not really super excited about that. All right, got to test these things sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, so we're lengthening out from the back heel to the crown. We got the right foot in front. Thank goodness I realized that before it took us through the series. You're going to press into that front foot and rise up. Maybe a little wobbly, particularly if your hip isn't as good as it could be. Arms come up on the inhale, peeking into the high lunge, and then as you exhale, drop the hands back behind you. Begin to lift the elbows high and reach back into that back heel. Hands gently press into each other. And we're going to try and draw the knee a little forward and towards the little toe side. And at the same time, kick back into the heel. Squeeze the hips together, squeeze the hands together, and lift the elbows. And then if you've got all of that and you feel quite grounded and strong, you can try inhaling and lifting the arms up. And as you do, let the gaze lift as well. Lift the chin a little higher. Don't drop the head back. Be quite, toned in the back of the neck. Reaching up with your gaze, with your heart, with your hands as the back leg pulls away. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, begin to allow that to guide the hands to the heart and to drop the back heel down to the earth. Make any little adjustments you need to with the feet, with the legs, so you feel nice and comfortable here in Virabhadrasana 2, our warrior pose. On an inhalation, let the arms begin to stretch out at the height of your shoulders. And on the exhalation, you might just guide yourself a little more towards the front, so the front knee coming a little bit more over the ankle. And then we're going to inhale and straighten that leg, drop the back hand to the back leg, and then find this rolling out to the outer edge of that back foot so you can find the arch as the front leg straightens. And then as you exhale, we're just slowly dropping back. That front knee bending, trying to have the shoulders directly over the hips. And then inhale, lift out of there, straightening the front leg, drawing back into the back leg, reaching over, and then exhale, slowly lifting out of there,
guiding that front knee forward and out while keeping what you gained in the back leg. Last one, inhale, straighten the front leg, reach back. Lynn, if you need to go at 9, you need to perhaps just finish this standing series here, and then if you can, just take a couple of minutes rest. Inhale, we're going to straighten that front leg. Reach from the foot to the fingers, and then as you exhale, we're lifting up so you can lift over that hip, and then just allowing the hand to find the leg. However you want, support or strengthening attitude, doesn't really matter, it's up to you. And then inhale, reach into the hands. We've been working with the core strength as a gentle sort of theme over the last few weeks, so you might feel, ready for it or up for it, or this natural, wanting to, but if it's not coming for you today, don't worry about it. Reach into the 6 corners of your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then slowly as you exhale, bring that arm over and down, lift the back heel, and just have that right hand onto the knee. This left hand can be on a block or the floor, and begin to, press the hand into the floor, draw that left shoulder towards the right knee, and just see what you've got in the torso. You could have a little play. And as you begin to press the hand into the floor and drawing that right shoulder towards the left shoulder towards the right knee, you can perhaps find this nice easy lift through the right arm. Taking a couple of breaths there, stretching from the back heel to the crown, from the back heel to the front knee. Hips drop by that back thigh lifts a little away from the floor. Take one more breath, and as you exhale, guide the right hand down and the back knee down. And then just simply bring the right foot, knee to the left. A little wag, a little sway from side to side. Walk those hands out nice and away from, nice in front of you. And then slowly suck the lower belly in and drop the heart down. Press the hands into the floor as you do that. Really keep active through the arms as you lower the heart down. You might like just the forehead to touch the floor, or you might try for the chin, drawing the chest closer and closer to the earth. Keep active through the arms and keep pulling back into the shoulders. Hands are pressing in. And then just coil forward as the elbows drop down to the floor. And just begin to lay your thighs and hips to the floor. And you can just roll a couple of times in a figure of 8, sort of slightly from side to side, shoulders rolling in a figure of 8. Allowing the spine to snake its way from side to side. Make any adjustments you feel you need to. And then from there, coming back to the center, reach into your toes, reach the top of the feet away and into the floor. Lifting the chest, the crown for a moment. And using the exhalation to release the elbows out and to straighten the right arm along the floor at the height of your shoulder. The left hand is just coming in under the shoulder. And then we're going to pick up that left foot and take it back behind us.
So we're rolling onto our right side and stretching into our right arm, our right shoulder. Knee can just be in line with the hip, or some of you might like to lift the knee high. Actually don't like that, it doesn't suit my hips. So it may suit yours. So take the options that you prefer. Breathe a couple of deep breaths here. And then take a nice deep inhale. Use the exhalation to gently roll onto your belly. Swapping the arms out, bringing the right hand in under the shoulder and extending the left arm out along the height of your shoulder. Bending the right knee and taking it up and over. Just making any adjustments with the body that you need to. Taking a couple of deep breaths. One more full inhale. Use that exhalation to gently, carefully roll back onto your belly. Maybe stacking one hand on top of the other, forehead rests on the hands, heels fall out, toes tuck in. Allow the thigh muscles to spread nicely onto the floor and just take a little rock of the hips from side to side, like a little jelly wobble. Even while you're doing this, begin to consciously deepen the breath into the belly. Spreading those elbows wide so the shoulders can release. And then as you're ready, just allowing the jigging to slow down. Bring the hands in under the shoulders and press up on an inhale. Draw your knees in close to your hands and come into a full child's pose. If you need to stack the fists or hands and rest the head on those, that's okay. Otherwise, bring the hands alongside the feet and allow the forehead to rest down on the earth or a block if that doesn't quite work for you. Deeply breathe into the back body. Let the exhalations begin to come out through the mouth and soften through any tension in the shoulders, back or hips, buttocks. Full deep inhale into the back body. Exhale through the mouth, softening and relaxing all the muscles through the shoulders, back, hips and buttocks. One last deep breath this way. And as you're ready, you can gently roll up. And you might like to put some clothes on. If you've stripped off a little bit, then you might want to put some of the warm stuff, or just begin to lay yourself down with a blanket over you. Socks on might be useful again, and then begin to lie the body down.
lining up your heels, hips, shoulders. They don't have to be perfectly in line, but they need to be straight or aligned, if you know what I mean. So I like my legs fairly wide. That really gives you that idea, that impression, that feeling that you can just really flop out and relax. So about the distance of your, the width of your mat for your feet. Can be nice, you can play around with it. But I do find that if they're too close, it's just not a feeling, the same feeling of ease and relaxation. I used to have my legs close for years, and I really find that just widening them can really send a clear message to the body, or a clearer message to the body. Same with those arms. I know in winter it's very tempting to mummify ourselves with blankets or hands tucked into places and things like that. I prefer that you use rugs or blankets or things to put over you in a loose and easy manner, grabbing more than one if you need to, than to mummify yourself in any way for Shavasana. Maybe you have a cat that can come and be beside you to warm you, or a dog. Once you've laid the body down, just find the natural, gentle breath. And focus a little bit more on the exhalations. Just check the features of your face. Making sure there's peace. Peace being presented there. If there's peace in the face, there is peace in the body. And let your whole body relax. Intentionally release any tension that you find, as subtle as it may be, throughout the body. Use the exhalation as the guiding breath, the guiding force to releasing. And also to staying present in this moment, this body. And not racing ahead into your day before we are finished here. Just try and let everything in your body be okay. Let all the muscles of your body know it's okay.
keep with the rhythm of your breath without changing it. Just with riding its rhythm, riding its flow. Take a deepened breath, and in that exhalation, just let anything left that isn't peace and ease, just let it out with the exhalation. Let your whole body sink into what feels like a warm bath of ease and relaxation. Even openness, the sense of willingness, openness. And then on that next inhalation, just beginning to push it into and throughout the body as a little kind, compassionate nudge towards awakening. And as you're ready, you can begin to wriggle your fingers and toes, perhaps moving ankles and wrists. You might like to stretch your arms overhead or hug your knees into your body or anything else that feels right for you. Or simply you can roll onto your right side or a comfortable uninjured side. And as you're ready, we can push up with the opposite hand. Maybe keeping the eyes closed if possible. Bringing the hands into prayer at the heart center and just rubbing the hands this morning vigorously together to create a little bit of heat. And then placing them over the eyes. And then just allowing the hands begin to spread out across the face as we massage ourselves kindly around the eyes, through the cheeks, the jaw, the forehead, wherever you feel you need it. And we join our hands back at our heart once again, bowing the head gently towards the heart's wisdom. And let's close class again with a one Om to just really clean out the vibrational energy around us, within us. So taking an inhale. And letting that just reverberate throughout the body.
Blessings on your day, on your week. Namaste.